The next project is a Mini Art cargo truck, and I was lucky enough to win this in a raffle at the Surrey Model Show. It's not something I would have bought, but good to get out of the comfort zone. So it's a Mini Art kit, and the intention is to build it and make it a little bit post-apocalyptic Mad Max kind of style. I've seen a few people doing that, and I think it's a great idea to have a bit of fun. So that's what we're going to try and do with this. One small engine. After the engine, we start to make the basis of the chassis. Some of the parts are really small and delicate on this kit, and it'd be so easy to break them. Trying to clean them up is a little bit tricky. And there's the pieces in place. Each wheel on the truck is made up of these different slices, and once you've patched them all together, the end result is a decent tread. It takes a while, but I think it's worth the effort. So fair play, Mini Art. Now we can fit the engine to the subframe. Okay, the suspension's now the right way up, which is making things line up a bit better. So a little mistake realised and corrected. This is an example of how warped a lot of the pieces are. It's supposed to be straight and keeps. That's got it. Okay, the sheet is 0.25mm thick, and we've marked out where we're going to cut, and hopefully it'll look to scale. That's going to be glued on the side like that. And the same the other side there. Perhaps back a little bit. I've also got a selection of tubes, and I think this is going to be the right thickness to bar up the windows. Then I'm going to put some thinner strips just to tie it together. And there's that window dump. And these are the spare box, and they're going to go something like that on the side, I think. For the rivets, I'm slicing some of the rod. If any modelers know an easier way, I'd love to know it. Once I've got a few, I'll glue them on. The rivets glued on. We're going to use a thicker piece, 2mm thick of the sheet this time. From the thicker plastic, we've shaped a point which is going to go on the front. A couple more bits of struts just to support that a bit. Got some bits out of the spares box to try and make something to sit in the back of the truck. Need to get the height of it right so it doesn't blow the top of the roof off, so it needs to be above the roof, so I'm thinking just about there. Yeah, that's going to be the right height. Two bits of tubing. Gonna go like that, and that's gonna sit on there. Drill some holes in that end, I think. There's the holes drilled. Found these in the spares box, so I'm gonna put them on as well. There we go. Something else I found in the spares is an old plain undercarriage. So I'm going to add that, and also a couple of springs from an old tank are going to go on the side there, just to make it a bit more interesting. Haven't glued it all together yet, so it's easier to paint when we come to that. But the next thing is to make some oil drums to go in the back. Something else to fill the back of the truck is some balsa wood, which I'm going to glue to a plastic sheet and then cover with some tissue to look like tarpaulin, just to fill the space up really. Some tissue paper laid over, and then some PVA and water. And there it is, placed in the back of the truck. And that's roughly how everything's going to lay out prior to painting. Finally ready to get some paint on the model. Added jerry can and a bit of photo etch, a few more details been added, and we're ready to get some paint going now. Everything that's going in the back is planned out and ready. Let's get some paint. Going to start putting a layer of rust. So the first layer is going to be dark rust that's going to be airbrushed onto the model. So the first coat of dark rust has been applied, and now we are going to do some highlights with a lighter rust colour. Okay, the dark rust and the light rust have dried off now, and I'm going to now apply some hairspray, mainly over the cab of the model, and also the jerry can is going to get some hairspray. Okay, we've got the base colour over the wooden colour, and now it's going to put some water in the middle here and use this as a little testing point, because I know the gun's going to go there, so if I muck it up it won't be the end of the world. What happens when we do this? Not bad. Yeah, it's better with the brush. Just slightly scuffing it up. I don't want big chunks to come off like on the Panzer tank that I did first time I tried this. Yeah, I've learned you've just got to be patient, I think. Right, onwards. Okay, I'm going to let that dry off. It's suitably scuffed up and looks a bit worn. Tiny bit of touching up to do, but yeah, we'll just let that dry now. Now we're going to try and scuff up and not ruin the truck. Bit of water, there we go, just gently. With the tank, I tried this first time, I got a bit heavy-handed because the paint wasn't coming off and ended up with some really big scuffs that I think were completely out of scale. So this time I'm going to try and do it a little bit more subtly. Because we've multi-layered the colours underneath, you're getting lots of different, oh easy, different rush shades coming through there. Again, you've got to be really patient and not get too heavy-handed. Okay, finish chipping and scuffing it up, and I'm not going to overdo it and leave it at that. I think that's okay. The gun's going to get the same treatment. Again, first wet it. Then just start jabbing it, scuffing it. But try and be a bit more subtle than the tank. The model's gradually coming together now, but one thing I'm thinking is it looks a bit monotonous in the colour, a bit dull, so just to add a bit of variation I'm going to paint the barrels, having air sprayed them with red around the top and bottom, and then a white stripe in the middle and some chipping. Time to unmask the barrels. And now, fingers crossed, gonna just try and wear some of it away. So that's one done. Looks pretty worn, and there's the other one. Now it's going to put a rust wash just around some of the panels, just as a bit of contrast. Got some German black brown and going to do some really fine chips now. Next up, some light rust around where we've just done the dark brown. Too much paint. I'm dry brushing the hinges and bolts with barely any paint, just to make them look a bit more metallic. We're getting down to the final details now. I'm gonna get some fuse wire, and I think the best to scale is going to be this 5 amp. I think the 30 amp and the 15 amp are a bit too thick for what I plan to do. And with a drill bit, I'm going to wrap the fuse wire around the drill bit, and then that's going to be painted and connected from the rocket to the tank. I think it's better putting it on dry rather than wet, but let's see how we go. The coils are made to go into the oil drums. Just need to make a couple of holes, and the finish line is nearly there. Finally, one of the finishing touches. Another final thing is some Abteilung engine grease, just in a couple of places around the jerry can, top of the oil drums here, a little bit on the floor of the truck, perhaps a bit over the base of the gun, perhaps a bit on the gun. Tiny bit around the engine caps.